Hey, so let's look at solving quadratic equations and quadratic inequalities. And let's start off like we did with linear and go ahead and solve an actual equation. So we know it's quadratic because of the x squared. If our highest power is squared, then it's called a quadratic. And we have a few ways of solving quadratic equations, but if we can factor it, that does tend to be the easiest way. Otherwise, you can try quadratic formula, complete and square. We're going to factor it. It's just an x squared, so x and x. And we're going to find things that multiply to positive 6, add to a negative 5. So I'm going to use a minus 2 and a minus 3 because those numbers will work. The reason we do this is now I have two things multiplied together to give me a 0. So either the first one, x minus 2, must be 0, or the second one, x minus 3, must be 0. Which means my x is going to either equal 2 or my x is going to equal 3. And I can sub these back in, try it, and be assured that they work. So it's going to be a little different with solving a quadratic inequality. I can start off the exact same way. I can start off by factoring it. X squared x minus 2, x minus 3. But that's kind of going to be where I have to stop because I can't set each of these less than 0. If x minus 2 is less than 0, that means it's a negative. If x minus 3 is less than 0, that means it's a negative. A negative times a negative would actually give me a positive, something greater than 0. So instead, I'm going to say, well, where do they equal 0? I already know that. They equal 0 at 2 and at 3. And I'm going to do test points. So I'm going to set up a number line and say I know that these are answers. My 2 is an answer, my 3 is an answer. And I'm going to test some points left of 2. So say negative 5. Or heck, we can even test the easiest one, 0. I'm going to test numbers in between 2 and 3, so say 2.5, and I'm going to test a number greater than 3, so say positive 5. And I'm going to see what that gives me. So let's just start off. If we test in a 0, I'm going to sub it in, and I'm going to get 0 minus 2 is a negative, 0 minus 3 is a negative. Negative times negative would give me a positive, so it's going to give me something positive. It's going to give me something greater than 0. So things less than 2 are not going to work for my solution set because I want it to be less than 0. And I could try any number. I could try negative 1. I could try negative 5. If I try negative 5, I'd get a negative and a negative. Again, that'd give me a positive. So not going to be a solution. So anything less than 2 is not going to be a solution to this set. So I'm going to try a 2.5. I'm going to see what happens. If I sub in 2.5, my first parentheses, 2.5 minus 2 is positive. My second parentheses, 2.5 minus 3 is negative. So that would give me a negative answer. So this would be less than 0. This would be part of my solution set. Anything negative is less than 0. Okay, so I'm going to try something higher than 3. I'm going to try 5. 5 minus 2 is positive. 5 minus 3 is positive. Positive times positive is positive. So this should not be part of my solution set. So the only thing in my solution set is this little span between 2 and 3. We know how to write that out in set notation. The lowest would be 2. The highest would be 3. And each of those we'd use a bracket because each of those it's allowed to equal because it's looking for where it's less than or equal to 0. Okay, so we'll try this with another one.